we get angry because we need to fix something. Something's dangerous. We get sad because we're mourning something. We get anxious because, we're in danger. Like all this shit is just biology. You know what I mean? So if you're denying your biology, that's like fucking needing to take a shit and not shitting.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. When we do talk about it, many of us, almost all of us, frankly, let's be honest about this. Come on now. We're not very good at it. We don't engage well with it. We're uncomfortable, we're scared, and I get it. But that's a problem. So one of my goals, the main goal on this podcast, is to have more conversations and hopefully better conversations with attempt survivors, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, I would love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. If you are at all into social media, please TikTok, Instagram, and a new YouTube channel. We could use the support, the likes, the clicks, the comments, the shares, all that shit. Thank you. The big thing right now I want you to know about, and there'll be a whole lot more information on this coming soon, I am doing my very best to plan a tour starting sometime in the next few months. Going live, meeting past guests, other suicide attempt survivors, other human beings who connect with this stuff. There's a lot of decisions I need to make. There's a lot of TBDs I just don't know yet. Most of it is contingent, of course, unfortunately, on money. So I'm not asking for anything from you right now. Oh, I will. And of course, if you want to get involved in other ways, there will be opportunities. Just letting you know. Finally, we are talking about suicide on this podcast. My guests and I do not hold back, so please take that into account before you listen or as you listen, but I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today, I am talking with Craig again. This is an update episode. Craig now lives in Ohio, and he is a suicide attempt survivor. Sergeant Sadness.
Sean Willington, how's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Good. It's been a while.
So I called you Sergeant Sadness because that's what I'm seeing on this. It says Sergeant Sad, but it's Craig in Rhode Island, which I think is a Commonwealth. I mean, I just listened back. We talked in, we talked in 2023. I know it came out in the late spring. I don't know when we probably talked a month or two before then, whatever it was. I just listened back to the very beginning blurb that how everyone has like a little blurb. Something about like, I did this. I think you might have been referencing a therapist or something and giving a shit. And then the final words was something like fuck.
Reason why I asked if it's okay to swear, because I was living in East Bumfuck, Rhode Island, but now I'm living in East Bumfuck, Ohio. So.
Oh, you're in Ohio now. Okay.
Ohio, yes.
When was the first, did you listen to it like shortly after it came out, or you waited for a long time?
I mean, I think I mentioned last time, I'm a relatively frequent listener of the podcast. So yeah. I saw when it dropped, I listened. I cringed more or less the whole way through. Much like somebody who has to hear their voiceover recordings all the time, I'm sure you're well aware of the phenomenon of us just hating our own voices. Yeah, I don't know. I was unmedicated when you interviewed me prior, and just listening back, I just sound a lot of like just really kind of scattered and like not manic, but Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting you say that. I talk to people when I talk to them and wherever they're at. So it is interesting to hear. And so you said you listened back recently as well, and you cringed through a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I cringed the first time I listened. Yeah, but that's a guarantee. Humans don't like we don't like hearing our own voices over recording. So
I know. I mean, I if you edit a lot like I do and you're hearing your own voice, you
get used to it.
You get used to it, right? You have to, or it'd be just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, you're telling me, man. Jesus.
Right. Now, of course, audience, you can go back and listen to Craig's full episode. It's episode 165. I wrote that down. I encourage you to do that. However, if you don't, how many attempts did you have when we talked? Do you recall?
I don't even God. I mean, I slashed my wrists like I don't even know, like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Like what numbers? What are we talking about?
Yeah, yeah. So you're implying it's a large number.
Yeah, I mean, it's suicidality is such like a symptom of my life that it's not really like a how many times can I count it? It's like is it hitting me today or is it not kind of thing,
Mhm. And you're medicated now, and you weren't then, you said.
Hell yeah. I am all up on that methylphenidate. That
What
is
is that?
that is where I'm at. ADHD medications. I mean, at the time, I think I was coming off of Paxil, getting on Wellbutrin, as well as methylphenidate. Yeah, I'm riddled with ADHD, which is another reason why that last interview was just like all over the place. So
Yeah.
should hopefully this time around it'll be more even keeled.
Well, I don't remember when I was editing it, and I mean, I do edit
Yeah.
a lot of people. I don't remember ever thinking like, "Oh, I can barely understand this guy. He's making no sense." And I remember that you're a musician.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I said, I mean, yeah, the whole hearing your voice again and again and again thing. That's why I relate, you know,
Mm.
constantly having to hear myself. So,
I don't know if in 2023 I was talking about memoir titles yet. Do you remember?
yeah, mine was fuck that and fuck you.
Well, I just like Sergeant Sadness. I like that too. Why'd you move from Rhode Island to Ohio?
I got dumped. We were living together and, yeah, probably like, I don't know, like 2 months after I interviewed with you, she dumped me. So,
Wow.
fresh start. Brother, ironically enough, also got dumped, and then moved out here for work and was living out here by himself for a few months. Saw it as a new opportunity, and I'm no longer living with him, but I was for a few months. I'm now on my own. I was
Mhm.
originally in Dayton with him. I'm now in Columbus, which is the capital. Poverty, heartbreak, and no sense of direction will definitely, leave you ambitious to go places that you've never gone before, so
Yeah.
Sean, I gotta admit, it's been, like, 2 years, but dude, you have not aged at
Oh,
all.
you are dude,
No, you look exactly the same, like
you don't have to.
well, hey, I'm old now too, man, I'm 31, so,
Alright, okay.
and I had trying to go on dates and, girls my age thinking I'm 10 years younger than I actually
You're
am.
looking young. Yeah, you're looking young. I'm gonna chuck up the, youthful looks or non-aging to just better lighting.
Sure, why not? We're being humble today.
So, just an overview, multiple suicide attempt survivor, frequent ideator, but stop me if I'm getting this incorrect at all, please.
No, you're good.
How many hospital stays, mental health related?
Anywhere between 7 to 20. I mean, if there's any
Yeah.
correlation, I've, I didn't tell this on the last, podcast, but, like, in 2020 yeah, it was Thanksgiving 2020, I, purposely took a nap on a set of train tracks, hoping that I would get splattered by a train, but,
Mm,
I was told to go home by the police. That
uh,
if that's any correlation of how fucking crazy I am, then,
mm,
Man, I mean, when you're unmedicated and you suffer trauma and you're all alone for years on end and you don't really
yeah.
have, much of a sense of direction other than pain, you will kind of do some things that when you are finally medicated and in a better headspace, you'll be like, wow, who the fuck even is that person?
And so you use the word crazy. Do you think you're crazy?
Depends on the day, I guess. Today I don't feel that, nutty. I'm kind of tired. I just got home from work. So,
Yeah. It's day by day. You point out a couple things. One, you write about the unmedicated, and you pointed out something else that
mhm,
I think I always want to talk about when it comes up. And sometimes I bring
sure,
it up, sometimes it is being alone.
sure.
Now,
Mhm.
I know people will hear that and be like, well, I'm in a relationship, but I feel alone. That's cool. I get it. And I'm not comparing being alone, being isolated, being without, or perhaps even when you are around people, but obviously you feel completely like that will fucking kill you.
Yeah, I know you're a well-read and educated person, so I'm sure
Mhm.
you've stumbled upon many of articles that talk about how
Yeah.
detrimental loneliness is. Because obviously, whatever perception of the world you have, we are experiencing a loneliness epidemic. Therefore, mental health and loneliness definitely correlate.
The other thing you brought up, it's like when you're unmedicated and you're alone and you do these things. In your case, you went to a railroad track and you've had other.
Yeah, that's just one circumstance. I
Right,
mean,
right.
giving myself concussions,
Yeah. But the thing is so when I asked this question, I don't know if I asked it back then. You'll tell
Mhm.
me. I don't know when I started asking the pink and purple pill question. Did we talk about that? Do you remember?
I can't remember if it was for mine, but I'm aware just because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, from
listening.
listening. But this is the type of thing that when people say they'll save it, it's just a question. Oh, yeah, if you take it, you go to sleep, there's no pain, you die, nobody knows it's a suicide. That's what this mad fictional piece of medication would do. But
Sure. Would I take it or would I not right now?
well, you're jumping the gun, but you want to go there right now? Let's do it.
Well, like I said, I'm a listener, so I would not because I'm a masochist. I love to torture myself, and living life alive will forever be more painful than living life in death. If that wasn't, too dramatic. I do all my, sarcastic cynicism aside, the reasoning behind that answer is because I'm kind of at that point in my life where I've struggled with mental health since my spawning.
Mhm.
So, and now that I'm 3 decades and a year old, obviously, blah, 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 frontal lobe developing, getting older, all that. I don't wanna say, like, you get used to it as you get older, but it's just like, you could die at any fucking moment. You could be walking to work and a drunk driver could not see you. You could live your whole life exercising and eating well only to get cancer. I'm not saying this is like a, fuck it all kind of thing, but what I'm saying is it's like I'm here, I might as well see how far I
Mhm.
can go. Because there's also, I mean, even with depression and suicidality, or, even, I mean, I'm not schizophrenic, but, like my friends who are bipolar, schizophrenic, or have, quote unquote, like very disassociative and differential diagnoses, there's stuff we all want to do, whether that's, super ambitious or just like, I don't know, like playing video games. Despite my immense cynicism, it's ironic. Like I'm finally doing shit that I want to do in my life the second like the world starts ending. I had a band going at the beginning of the pandemic that got ex-nayed because of the pandemic. And now I'm finally living in a cool city, being able to afford life relatively. I'm
Mhm.
working 2 jobs that I love. I'm
Mm.
single, but who gives a flying fuck? I'm engulfed in music, which, is my thing. I'm content. I wouldn't necessarily say like I'm like stoked to be alive, but at the same time, it's like, I'm here. I might as well see how far I can go. And with all that being said, when you struggle with depression or anxiety or whatever, like we mentioned earlier, it really is a day to day. Like life's great or whatever. I don't want to kill myself, but it's
Mhm.
always on the back burner. I had a therapist who was a surreal motherfucker, and he would tell me all the time. He was like, "Yeah, like there's option A, there's option B, there's option C. And when all those fail, option D. What's option D?" Which, might be breaking some kind of, like,
Maybe.
code, but at the same time, again, I think you, I, and a majority of your listeners appreciate when professionals can also be professional and real. So,
Yeah, for sure. When I'm talking to somebody like you who's still struggling in that way, if I talk to you tomorrow, right, right, right. I mean, there's some things that would be the same. You're still in Ohio. You're still into music, a lot of it, but
again, and this is why mental health specifically, I know obviously it's a luxury to, take care of yourself, which is fucked up, but, I mean, I don't wanna say you can get through life with, like, like a bad arm or something, but if your brain's messed up, like, good fucking luck. And obviously, it takes for some of us, it takes years to figure out truly what is the matter, and that can be because of personal reasons, that could be financial, that could be professional reasons. There's a plethora of different reasons. I'm fortunate in the regard that even though it took me, 10 plus years, I eventually figured out a good combination, and now I've been on the same kind of med combo for more or less since we last spoke. And it's just shocking how more like consistent life is. And when I say consistent, I mean the person you're speaking to now, 3 out of 4 chances I'm gonna be this guy tomorrow. Here's a little fun fact for you. I left work early 2 weeks ago because I woke up on a Tuesday. Nothing different. Everything the day prior was fine. Nothing crazy that day, but I just like on my way to work, I spiraled and I left probably 2 hours in because I was like already like erratically I mean, I fall into that category of like oh, he's sitting there and like just kind of like quiet, like okay, like everything's normal. Oh, wait. Okay, now he's like ripping his arm open with a blade. Okay, that's not normal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and
Hmm.
that was me on that day. I was like, I woke up a little stressed out, not immensely, but which I, contribute to the erratic behavior that day. I didn't split my arm open, but like I was at work and, I'm stressed out, my brain's going a million miles an hour. I also do have to add a little at this point 2 weeks ago, I was unmedicated. I recently switched psychiatrists, so I did have a little spell where I wasn't on my medication. And when ADHD is unmedicated, it can very much mimic bipolar. So I am not bipolar. I was going crazy, stressed out, isolating at work, kind of just like in my own head, in my own space. Sharp object, you don't even think about it. You just, oh yeah, that
Mm.
is me taking a sharp object to my wrist. So
That's the sound it makes.
indeed, one of many. I don't necessarily consider cutting myself attempts. What I consider attempts would be like the soap opera shit, like ambulance called, institutionalized, that kind of thing. Sleep on train tracks. Yeah, I consider that an attempt. The self harm for me is like, I don't know, it's like smoking cigarettes. Like it's bad, but it's good.
Did anybody in your life
Mm,
ever hear our podcast?
no, I don't believe so.
Mm.
Not because I don't. I mean, if I'm being real, like despite the fact that I speak the way I speak and experience the things I experience, I'm probably like one of the more sane people in my life.
Right.
I'm usually the therapist friend. I'm usually the one that everyone is like, I can't, blah, 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 blah," and I'm like, hey, calm down, calm
Mhm.
down. Like I'm over, or I'm coming there. Like we're gonna hang out.
Yeah, I
Uh,
asked that in part because I always wanna know, like, what did people say when they heard Craig talk about some stuff that maybe they didn't know or, that kind of thing.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, man, I'm a singer, dude. Like, I can't help but tell people how I'm doing. My MO. So, if you're somebody who's personally involved with me in my life, like, there's never like a how's Craig doing? It's like, I know how Craig's doing because you don't shut the fuck up about it. Not saying I'm constantly just bitching, but it's just like I tell people how I'm doing. I tell people, well, I'm also just a very sensitive and empathetic person. So, when you yourself are very sensitive, you can pick up on when other people are also being vulnerable or in a state of vulnerability. Like here, that's why I'm here. Fuck it, dude. People fucking kill themselves. People fucking blow their fucking brains out. People fucking take cyanide. Like, fuck, shit happens.
Yeah.
Life sucks a lot. People die. Like, I'm not afraid to fucking talk about that. I know it's like some of it's like learned not to talk. I know generational, I know cultural, but like, dog, look at me. Do I look like I give a flying fuck? No.
Mm.
I'd rather people just be like, hey, this is how I feel, because the more truthful you are, the sooner you can kind of get to the root and ultimately solve the thing. And truly, you're only as sick as your secrets. So if you're bottling your emotions and living in a state of denial, which, if you're an American right now, you can kind of like see that everywhere, then that's a scary place to be because you literally, well, one, you're at war with yourself. People forget emotions are senses. We feel certain things as a response to our environment or to what's going on. So, and I love this because you'll hear this from dudes like all the fucking time. Like, oh, you're so emotional, you're so this, you're so that. It's like, bro, fucking punching a wall and getting mad at the slightest fucking inconvenience is being emotional. Anger
Right.
is a fucking emotion, dog. People forget that it's like, we get angry because we need to fix something. Something's dangerous. We get sad because we're mourning something. We get anxious because, we're in danger. Like all this shit is just biology. You know what I mean? So if you're denying your biology, that's like fucking needing to take a shit and not shitting.
Right. I think that one deserves a few moments. Couple beats here, just let it sit.
I mean, I maybe it's just a personal thing, but like I don't. This isn't heavy to me. Heavy to me is people not taking care of themselves. Heavy to me is like you're pleading with somebody to survive, and they're just not, and that's really tough, obviously. But it's like denial is way more heavy than any level of negativity or uncomfortability that comes with talking about how you feel or whether it's suicide or you know how it is, dude. You're a man of What, Gen X? Yeah, you talk about your feelings, you're a fucking bitch. One, you can't even say, like, how you're doing, actually doing, let alone cry. God forbid, you
Mhm.
cry, you're getting fucking exiled, dog. And I'm not saying that's strictly a dude thing. I know plenty
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
women who also are like, but at the same time, I personally think society would be better if people just kinda lowered their emotional defenses, which, again, I understand that not everyone can just magically do that.
Staying within the realm of reality, could your life be any way right now where you wouldn't have wanted to reconnect again and talk? You were doing really well, you were doing really bad, whatever.
I mean, dude, this is like the happiest I've ever been. Black is the combination of every single color. So y'all want to call me negative. To me, this is the whole expanse that life has to offer. So
I don't again, I don't remember when I started doing the memoir thing, but we did do it. What is yours again?
the first one was fuck that and fuck you.
Okay, but it's 2 years later now, so
Because I knew you were gonna ask this question. I came up with something clever the other day, but I'm kind
Oh,
of
yeah?
drawing blanks on it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was something like overworked and too stoned, like a burnout story.
Did you smoke before we talked?
No, but, if I'm being completely honest, I was fucking zoinked during our last one, so
Oh,
that
you
also may have
were?
contributed, yeah, so
Mm,
I'm not this time, though. Like I said, I'm a more balanced human, believe it or not.
mhm. What kind of work are you doing these days?
Teaching and, ironically enough, marijuana production.
What are you teaching?
Yes.
Oh, guess, music.
Yeah. I do guitar, singing, drums, piano. Like I said, man, I mean, I'm finally doing something I mean, I knew from day one that music was my thing, but again,
Right.
having a discouraging family and just, even friends. Hey, I want to do this thing. Oh, you'll never do that. Fuck you, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
here I am. I'm doing it. Like, it's crazy because, I know this is like a dark subject matter podcast, but there's life. There's little hints of positivity. Here's one, to all the listeners out there who are doubting themselves. I was scolded from age 6 to this day by my mother for being an idiot, for being stupid, for like never going to accomplish anything. Not only am I teaching now, I'm working with people with fucking master's degrees. I have no college degree. Like, I'm doing this just because I said to myself, "This is the thing I wanna do, therefore, I'm gonna do it." Not necessarily teaching, but music, you know what I mean? So, I know obviously it's easier said than done, and it's not like a foolproof, but to all the listeners who have somebody out there doubting you, in your head, tell them to go fuck themselves. Because that shit is not just mean and cruel and ass backwards. There's no reason why anybody shouldn't just support people. And again, if we're tying this full circle to this whole podcast, despite the fact that I'm quote unquote like happier than I've ever been, I'm still fucking miserable, man. I mean, life
Mm,
sucks. So these days, I'm trying to also, just heartbreak in general will make anybody reevaluate their life. So, in the time in which we spoke last, I've done a lot of, just reading. I'm not religious at all, but, the Buddha said that all life is suffering and nothing is, everything is temporary. Not saying that pain's temporary because it's not. For me, pain is constant, but life is temporary.
when you said that you're there for people, they often come to you to talk, but how many people do you have to talk to about hard things like suicide?
Two people.
2 people.
Well, they're both my best friends, but they're unique in the sense that one of them has more or less deals with the exact same thing that you and I deal with. I mentioned him actually last podcast, my scientist friend.
Mhm,
He is very mentally astute in the sense that he struggles immensely due to both mental imbalance and an unfortunate life
mhm.
in early childhood. But he, like myself, have kind of, over the course of our short but extensive lives, we have taken the steps to kind of do our best to kind of balance ourselves out. My other friend is just a genius and like
Mhm.
one of the kindest, most empathetic, beautiful people I've ever met. He's also, ironically enough, well, not just a music teacher, but he's also like an English teacher at like a special needs mental health specific like school. So, I'm dealing with two people who are very kind of well adversed in this kind of realm to begin with. but even still, I mean, we all have friends or just acquaintances or just people in our lives that, they mean well, when they say you can come to me or you can talk to me, but it's rare that you'll find somebody who knows exactly what to say.
Mm.
And when you do find those people, do your fucking best to not let them go. Wait, I do wanna say one last thing just about my, buddy Colin. It's not a big thing for us. Like, we can he can do this to me too. Like, he'll just text me out of the blue, and he'll be like, "I wanna fucking kill myself."
Yeah.
And we'll
Mhm.
just talk and like, it's not this like, "Oh, no," like.
Right. And I absolutely get talking about it. Of course I do. But I want to know why you want to hear others talking about it. Why listen to people talking about this stuff?
Well, it's no different for the reason that you would listen to music, you relate to it. I mean, come on, look at me, man. Like, you think my music is all sunshine and rainbows? Fuck no.
Right.
you know,
Sure.
I make music for sad druids, so, yeah, it's the sad hippies. I enjoy it, ironically enough. I was listening to, oh gosh, he had such an experience, combat vet
Hmm.
who, was also raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, dude, this is so, so heavy." But,
Hmm.
I had a significant other pass away due to overdose suicide, and she was raised in the Jehovah's Witness kinda cult, and, obviously, whenever you hear any stories about that, it always for me, brings me back to Sarah, but it also is just like, it's important to talk about that stuff. That guy felt so twisted up inside because for years, I mean, obviously, he went to war, which is, like, a thing in and of itself, and then on top of that, just, like, his upbringing, but, like, Elijah, I tip my hat to you, my friend, because not only have you been through so much, so, so much, but to go through all that with no one to talk to. And I know I'm a little bit younger, but it's just like, dude, if I had nobody to talk to at all about anything, not necessarily even just now with like my two friends, but just like throughout my life, it's like I'd already be dead, dog. Unfortunately, I mean, like I mentioned, Sarah, she would always be somebody that I would always talk to, too, and vice versa, me for her. But it was too much, over time, the pain just was too much, and there wasn't enough intervention, healthy intervention, productive intervention to the point where she could have, gotten herself out of that situation, which is just devastating and heartbreaking. When your life is so tragic and there's no way out, unfortunately, it's just that there's no way out. And I'm not saying she couldn't be saved. I'm not saying she couldn't have saved herself, but it's just these things. It's like you have to be aware of what kind of privilege you truly have. You know what I mean? Because again, I fall into the category of somebody like, dog, I can afford insurance. I can do this, I can do that. I can go to the doctor, not, every day. It still, hurts me financially, but I'd rather be broke, be sound of mind and healthy and able to have healthy relationships and able to go to work and be there all day than to not. And for the people who don't have that luxury, it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I would like to get to a point in my life. This is probably another reason why I wouldn't take the pill. But after I'm done with this whole, angsty music bullshit, I would very much like to become some form of a psychologist, whether that is a therapist or just like somebody that, helps disenfranchised people. Because like Sarah was also homeless, which is a very prevalent problem in the US. And I've also experienced homelessness at various times in my life. If I'm tying this full circle, this shit isn't heavy to me. I'd rather people speak of it, than to not.
Have your ideas or your thoughts around suicide or suicidality changed at all? I'm sure we talked about the what are your myths and misconceptions question. Whether it's a myth or a misconception or something about how you view it all has changed in the last couple of years, or maybe it hasn't.
Honestly, yeah, I wouldn't say it's changed.
Mhm.
I still fucking hate everything. How many times a day do you say to yourself, "Fuck, dude, like, why me?" It's like 8.2 billion people on the planet, and I had to be birthed. Like,
Right.
come on, what the fuck? So, it's one of those things. But again, like I said at the very beginning of this, if you're someone like me, my youth was figuring this out. that's kind of a pun because there is no figuring it out. There's just navigating it. You know, we grow up, we think everything is so like well orderly and well built, and then no, like everything in life, whether it's civilization, your work, your family dynamics, like everything is held on by a fucking piece of masking tape. It's so easy to just fall off and to just say fuck it all and just, you know, fuck it. I'm gonna stick a needle in my arm. I'm gonna blow this powder, whatever the fuck. Life is never going to be easier. It's never going to get easier. You're just going to get used to it. It's like death. You know, when someone passes away, you never forget them. It never gets easier. You just get used to it.
This is a weird question. If you could, I don't even know if I like this question, but I'm going to ask it. You never know what'll come from it. I'll probably cut it. We talked about 2 years ago. You're talking to Craig back then with the girl in Rhode Island. Your life is your life. We don't have a time machine and the world doesn't work this way. But is there anything you today as we talk would say to him that might help out a little bit? Or maybe it wouldn't even help. You'd want him to know.
Life is a lot more long than we fucking all think it is. It's gonna suck, but peaks and valleys, you know, it doesn't suck forever. It's gonna be good at times. Those good times are gonna end and the cycle's gonna continue. You know, we don't know where we were before here. We don't know where we're going afterwards. We're here now. This is what matters now. What you are going to experience will change and alter you. Whether that's for the better or not, it doesn't necessarily matter. All that matters is that you stay on this plane of existence until it is your time to go. And that time, again, I'm not religious. I do not believe in God. I don't believe in an afterlife, but I do believe that, you know, we exist in the universe and there are things beyond our understandings. And wherever we were before we spawned here, I have a feeling we'll probably be right back where we were originally. Mm-hmm. So you might as well just stick it out, dude. Because again, you're going to put out an awesome album too, and people are going to love it. And, you know, fucking, you're going to go from feeling like a fucking bedroom loser to, you know, teaching alongside master degree motherfuckers. So just, you never know.
From bedroom loser to master degree motherfuckers. Do you know what I'm thinking, right?
Book title.
Not bad. Not saying it's the final version, but it's up, you know, okay.
Well, we're being consistent, you know, as long as my name's on it, it has to have at least 1 or 2 curse words. Or
yeah, of course.
You know, so this is just a sequel.
Thank you again for reconnecting. Is there anything else you want to share with me or the world, whoever hears this?
Thanks for everything you do, man. You know, I don't have to tell you nothing. You're doing the world a good service by providing people a place to just openly be themselves and express how they feel. To everyone listening, I don't know you. I don't need to know you. You probably don't want to know me, but I love you. I want you to keep going. Life sucks. It's going to suck at times, but we're here. And there are things to hold on for. Whatever that is up for you to decide. It might not be apparent to you now. It might not be apparent to you in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But until your metaphorical clock stops ticking, you might as well just keep going.
Oh, man, love me some metaphors.
Thank you for everything you do.
You are welcome, man. Thank you. I hope your day doesn't suck, and I'm sure we'll talk again pretty soon.
Yeah, you as well, Sean. Take it easy, man, all right?
Later, brother. Bye. As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support, and special thanks to Craig once again, now in Ohio. Thanks, Craig. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or near attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. Shoot me an email. I would love to talk with you. Check the show notes, the podcast description, the website, social medias, all of that stuff if you'd like to learn more about this podcast, what we do, what we stand for, what we are all about. However you are involved, I really appreciate it. Until next time, stay strong, do the best you can. I will talk to you soon.